Welcome back to the COS Business Podcast. My name is Andrew Hasley, and I am the host of the show. Today we have on Robert Fehlen with Atmos Planning, right?
You got it. Glad to be here.
Yeah, sweet, man. So can you tell us what your business is about?
Yeah, absolutely. So to try to condense it down into as few sentences as possible, really what we do is empower visionary entrepreneurs and real estate investors to build and pursue what they love while maximizing their net worth, their impact, and their quality of life. So that's what we're all about.
Fantastic. You got that tagline down, man.
It took some practice.
Okay.
It took some practice.
Sweet. Well, I can't wait to get into that and explore that because I definitely need some education on that myself.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And first, I'll read the sponsorships before we do get into that, though. So the first sponsorship is, and will always be, my video production company. We produce videos for companies, really helping them tell their story, helping them look professional and further their businesses using the power of video. That's the goal with Behemoth Visuals, is B2B, business-to-business video production that can really maximize the effectiveness of video for business. Yeah. I haven't got mine down yet.
No, it's good. It's good.
I usually just improvise it, change it every single time, and just feel what feels right. And
Absolutely.
I think since I do it that way and since I do it so much, it just refines itself and gets better and better.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
And then I'd also like to promote this advertising space right here at the beginning of every episode. You can have me read a 15-second to 30-second ad promoting your business or promoting a movement that you want to promote. You just reach out to me and we can make that happen. I'll read the ad script, and that's magic, man.
Love it. Great job.
It's essentially a referral for your business from me. I think that's the best way to look at it because people connect with that. There's some good value in advertising at the beginning of podcast. Just people do it on Joe Rogan's podcast, and their products probably take off because he's got such a large audience, which is the goal with mine. I'm wanting to grow the audience, and as the audience grows, the value of what I charge for advertising space will grow. And I think that's 30 seconds or more.
That's great. No, I mean, the way you started off, you've been at this less than a year, and I know your audience is just growing and growing and growing.
Yeah.
Exciting time to get in.
For sure. And what's cool about that is, you can lock in long-term deals for the current rate that I'm charging now. So, like, if you want to lock in, 6 months or a year of advertising on this show, you will lock in for the price that I'm charging right now. So, say the show grows, 10 times over the next 3 months or 6 months, then you still have that same rate. I'm not going to prorate it. I'm not going to increase it. You've locked in that contract for that deal. So
wow.
I think that's some value. That's just keeping adding some extra value. So, I can build some interest for the advertising space and, get people really wanting to, because long-term deals are just always better.
Absolutely. For sure.
Yeah. So that's the longest advertisement I've ever had.
No, it's great. Good.
I like, talking about it. I think it's cool. So I'll roll the intro music and we'll get started with the show.
Sounds good to me.
All right. This is a show where we have real conversations with entrepreneurs and business owners who are mostly in Colorado Springs doing things in the community of Colorado Springs. Sweet. All right, Robert, how's it going?
It's going great. Going great. Glad to be here.
Yeah, man. I'm excited to really dive into what your business is about and what you do. You're also an organizer for 1 Million Cups, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a whole lot of fun. It's an amazing community of just entrepreneurs. Really, it's Entrepreneurs Anonymous. We get up there and
yeah.
I'm addicted to entrepreneurship. So
it's
a great collaboration of people.
For sure. And addicted to coffee too.
Yes. There's a reason why it's called 1 Million Cups.
Yeah. So that's cool. Has that what is the value that you see out of being an organizer for 1 Million Cups?
For sure. So when I started going probably as most people did, wanting to connect with other people in the community, probably looking for business in a way. And I quickly realized the value in that group lies in just the connections, the relationships, what you can learn from the other people in that group. So it really became, a moment, every Wednesday at 9 a.m. where I would go and get motivated and excited for the week, just listening to the stories
for sure
of people that, what successes, what struggles that they had. And then just get to network and connect with some really amazing people.
Yeah. Are you going to now be able to speak?
Yes. With this new business, I've been asked to speak, which is exciting. So
yeah, because 1 Million Cups, they have restrictions on who can speak.
Yes.
And what are those restrictions?
Yeah, so the restrictions, so usually when we say it, it's around financial advisors, any MLM, what are some of the others? Realtors. And what it comes down to is like, we're not against those industries at all. Like we want those people. There's a lot of those people there. It's more about owning the practice because we want the owners of the business up there speaking. So,
Yes.
if you're a Keller Williams real estate agent, like we'd love to have you in the group. But unless you're owning the company, we really wanted the owners and the entrepreneurs that started their business from their scratch, to get up there and speak to their story.
That was the original plan for this podcast as well, like only owners and founders. But I wanted to expand it to just business in nature and business in all forms. Like we had someone who works at Bob Pincus, and he's just a car dealer. But car dealers, there's a lot of business that it's essentially when you are commissioned, there is a lot of things, business principles that you could provide value for on the show specifically.
Oh yeah, you absolutely have to have an entrepreneurial mindset. Realtors, like they're not paying you a salary to get out and do that and work every day. You're the one that's responsible for going out and getting your own clients. So yeah, there's a definite aspect of you have to run it like a business.
For sure. So that's why I expanded outside of just founders and owners, because it's mostly that, but I just wanted to the goal is to talk about business and really see what value we can provide to the community via the podcast.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's cool. So you're going to speak. Do you have a date planned yet?
I don't have a date planned, so we recently had to switch back to virtual for a while.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. So we've got speakers lined up about, I think, until January or February right now.
Okay,
so
sweet.
Sometime after that. So probably first quarter 2021.
Oh, I can't wait to be there and see what you got.
It'll be exciting. It'll be exciting.
So your business, you recently you were working under a branch under like a financial advisory company, and then you went out and started your own. Is that what happened?
Yes, very, very close. So yes, I was working for Thriving Financial.
Okay.
The easiest way to describe that model, and for people that are already aware will understand this, but it's typically like a franchise. So we get all their systems, their processes, their platforms, and their marketing power, but it's up to you to go out and build your own business.
For sure.
And then along that path, ended up finding a niche that I wanted to go down and follow, and there was going to be more opportunity to build out a business for myself and a new brand in order to do that. So made the transition this year.
So what's the Atmos for?
So Atmos, so that's a great question, and for me, it came down to my brand strategist and design and trusting somebody that knows what they're doing. So I don't have a personal, exciting connection to that word, but it makes sense. One, marketing, advertising, you want a short word that's easy to say.
Yeah.
And people can type very easily. And then the second is it's around, the highest you can go on the earth, right? The atmosphere.
Nice.
So that's where the term derives. So, and that's where what we're trying to do is just optimize what our clients are doing and get them to their best life possible.
For sure. I want to visit other atmospheres.
Yeah, there you go.
I want to go even higher. Yeah. Mars specifically, I would like to visit there. That's one of my goals is to visit Mars, and I'm going to make it happen.
Absolutely. Well, there's a line already signing up for that. So.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. And as the technology progresses, it's going to be more affordable and more practical to actually make that happen. I thought I wanted to live there, but I realized I just want to visit.
Yes, yeah. I think visiting,
yeah. Well, I wanted to live there so I could have kids there and call them Martians. And
oh, that's great. Yeah, soon we'll have to have passports. That show what country or what world or planet you were born on.
Interplanetary travel, man. I love talking about that stuff, and it just we brought up Atmos, and just that word triggered that in my mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it also feels professional, and I don't know if that's just because I know you and you feel professional, and so it just adds that to the brand. But I think Atmos Planning feels pretty professional too. No, thank you. And really along the brand elements of what we're going for is mastery yet relational. So to be that light for the entrepreneurs and real estate investors that we work with, there's a level of knowledge that you have to bring to the table to work with these folks. But at the same time, you've got to be relational with these folks. So, and also too, when I started out in the financial industry, I was wearing the suit and tie and everything like that. And I thought that's how you have to get clients, especially at my age. You got to look the part. And realize the people that I wanted to work with, they weren't wearing that. It was casual. It's jeans and a sports coat or a polo or something like that. So it goes back to, how do we show that we're really good at what we do, but at the same time, we're really here just to support and help what you're doing. We're not trying to fool you or bullshit you. Or
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So So what is some of the things that you do for business owners and entrepreneurs?
Yeah, absolutely. So it starts with, we operate out of what we call the Personal Cfo Model, which really we're trying to grow that. And it's specifically designed for business owners and real estate investors. There's a long story of how that model came about. But really we see it as an opportunity in the financial services market because, when we talk to business owners and entrepreneurs, real estate investors, they're really getting underserved right now about all the many various financial services that are out there. So really we're trying to combine a lot of those elements together, but just give them a person that's sitting on the same side of the table, just navigating, both their personal life and their business life as well. Just because your personal goals and your business goals as well, they're so intertwined, yet seem to compete sometimes. Like for example, there's a business owner we're working with, his wife wants to get a new house, right? And there's certain tax strategies that have been used that he's making great revenue on a monthly basis, but because of the tax strategies that were implemented by a CPA, on paper, it doesn't look like he makes enough money to afford a new house. So, which is great, right? That CPA is doing this job, like that CPA is doing what he was hired to do. But at the same time, we have to take that in the context of like, what's their whole life picture, right? And you got to keep the wife happy at the same time. Like she wants things for her kids and growth for her kids. So it's rebalancing all that and taking, all those various inputs from your personal life and your business life and putting that together and really helping you determine what's truly best for you. Because there's 1,000 different places you can go and get advice from. Yeah. And really everyone gives advice based on 3 things. It's, how they're compensated, right? Which drives a lot of the advice out there in the industry. It's their education, their background, and then it's what you hire them for. So you just always have to be mindful of where is that advice coming from, and then what are the motives behind that advice.
For sure. So, advising. So you when you say personal CPA, now it's starting to click. Like it's more based on like not your business but your life, or a mixture of both. But it's focused on your life goals.
Yeah, so there is an extreme intentionality around the term personal CFO as we're going through that because, when, you look at it, the easiest way to think about it is if you have a business owner, imagine them at the center of a page, right? At the top of the page is all their personal goals and what they want for themselves. On the bottom of that page is all their business goals and everything they want there. And where you can get advice from in those aspects. On your personal side, you have a financial planner, you've got, a CPA that's filing your taxes for you. You've got a life coach, you've got, you got family and friends. That's a huge influence as well. On your business side, again, you have your CPA, your accountant, your bookkeeper, your tax filer. You may have a business coach. And so there's all you as a business owner are already wearing how many hats, right? Between your video production company, the podcast.
Oh yeah.
And you can go out and most business owners that we're talking to, they felt stuck in the sea of advice where it's like this, my insurance person is telling me to do this. My financial planner is telling me to do this. My CPA is telling me to do this. And the problem is no one's sitting down at the same table and talking and saying, no, this is why I'm giving this advice. And it's because of this personal goal over here. This is why I'm giving this tax advice because it's this business goal over here. So the idea of the personal CFO is we're bringing all that connection together and we're sitting down with those folks and then helping the business owners cipher through that advice to truly get what they want for themselves in life.
Nice. And so financial planning and CPAs aren't the same thing.
No.
I thought they were.
No. So CPAs, certified public accountant. So they do a lot of, as far as like your bookkeeping. So they do a lot of the compliance work necessary. The IRS wants to come in and see your books are all in order. They do a lot of tax planning for folks. And then they also file your taxes.
Do you make them the same thing? Is that what you are?
No, so we don't do books. Eventually, we're going to bring that service in-house just because that's a huge pain point for folks. And we're in talk with a couple companies here, actually local in Colorado Springs, to
partner up with?
Yes, exactly. Nice. But again, at the end of the day, a lot of times if you're under $10 million in revenue, the CPAs that we've run into in that world, there's just some tax strategies that are missing. And it's not that they're doing a great job for their clients, but we've walked in with a client that had a CPA, an accountant, and their books were probably the best we'd ever seen. And yet we went through and we found an extra 20% of tax savings year over year.
Oh, wow.
That they're going to be able to realize. And even at a small amount, over 20, 25 years, it's $350,000 So
For sure.
So it's important. So we take a look at it from just a different perspective. So we're not your bookkeeper, we're not your CPA, but we want to help coordinate the advice and the professionals that are in your world that are giving you that advice.
Where do you go out and find a lot of your knowledge?
So a lot of it's based on education and experience, and then hiring people that are smarter than me at the same time.
That's good.
So I've got a fairly extensive background in financial management. So I came from the private equity world. So I used to be a head analyst on a $2.5 billion real estate and commercial multifamily portfolio.
2.5 B.
Yes,
Billion?
with a B. So, which it was an amazing team, great group of people. I had a boss that truly invested in me,
Nice.
and gave me a lot of the education and experience that I needed that helped me launch out into something like this. And then jumping out from that into financial planning, got to see that world, and I'm a big believer in learn the industry before you try to change the industry.
Yeah, for sure.
And learn the ropes. So that was that exploratory process of really diving into more of the industry and the more personal relationships. And at the end of the day, I just want to work with people that every single phone call I get energy and excitement from.
I like that. Same here, man. Yeah, for sure. So Thriven's a financial advisory company.
Yes.
That was the company you were working for before you started Atmos, which you just started in November, right?
Yes, actually. So we launched November 2nd or 3rd.
Okay.
It was, and it's taken off since then.
That's
so
good.
We've got one individual on our team already. We're talking to several more, just because of the growth path that we're on.
Nice. That's freaking awesome,
Yeah,
man.
it's exciting. It's exciting. So
Yeah. So I was just thinking of something and I lost it, but oh well. Let me find my balance. Listen to the birds chirp. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, I think I have.
There it is.
Just keep things going. Okay, that'll go forever. All right. Yeah, man. Definitely. That's fantastic. I'm gonna go on a side note here.
Okay.
Oil change. I haven't done this on the show for a while.
Okay.
Scott, you know Scott.
Yes,
Scott
I
Gill,
do.
He came here on his episode and he gave like 20 oil changes, and I want to give you an
Sweet.
oil change
No, that's
on
awesome.
behalf of the show and behalf of Adam and Sons Auto Plaza.
Oh, well, thanks to Scott and Adam and Son.
Yeah, definitely, man. And that's cool. That's cool. I just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah.
It's cool. Like, we know Scott through similar networking events that we both go through. Has networking helped you at all with growing your business?
So I'd say networking, what I love to do is find really great people that are up to great things. And I'll say a lot of the networking, right? It's all of us, we're early on, right, in our business, and we're excited. I think the power of networking more comes from the long-term relationships that you can build. I think the old networking of you give me 3 referrals, I give you 3 referrals, it's extremely transactional. I know that still works in other markets, but what I love about Colorado Springs is that it's so relationship driven, right? You don't last long if you try to come in and just run transactions, right? So there's a long-term development of relationships. And I think the power of that comes is as you build those relationships and help build other people up, what does the next 3 years look like for them, the next 5 years, the next 10 years, and you can all grow together from that. So I think that's really where the power of networking and the focus of networking should be.
Yeah. And I do too. And I think that's actually like Colorado Springs has a good foundation in that. But I think, that's tried and true. Like the people who have done that in networking for decades have probably built up something, been able to build up something significant because of that.
Absolutely.
Like I do think that's where things are going. And maybe I wasn't around when doing business just over a couple years ago, so I don't know how things were. So.
Yeah, no.
I'm sure. I mean, I do know. Like it used to be strictly only like wearing business suits and this and that. And now I feel like at least maybe it's just Colorado Springs, but networking is as entrepreneurship has blown up. I think that's where it's kind of evolved into a more relational kind of thing, because it's just a community. And yeah.
Absolutely. No, I think there's something definitely special about Colorado Springs because I've been in other cities before and worked in other cities before. But I also think it's also the newer generations that are coming up and starting their own businesses. And I think overall the tone is, we want to do business differently.
Yeah.
And we want to do it with people, we love, we're excited to work with each and every single day. And you don't do that based on transactions. You do it based on relationships.
For sure. And that goes down to like the whole corporate world is starting to, like tumble.
It's definitely changed. And I was talking with a few folks the other day. I think 2020 and the pandemic, just where we were headed 5 or 10 years from now, just accelerated that to today regarding, working from home, virtual, having teams spread out across the country. We were headed in that direction already, and now we were forced into it much faster. So I think there's going to be a lot of positive things. There's a lot of things to learn that we should, could have done differently over this year, but there are a lot of positive changes that'll come about that'll make people's lives better in the future.
I think so too. I think that it's really shaken up the world in a good way. Usually when things happen like this, there's usually something that blooms out of it that is even better. It sucks.
You're right. Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, so I think I remember what I was going to ask you. I wanted to really dive more into financial advisory tips and stuff like that. Like, what are some of the common things you've noticed when you were running Thrive-It that you've helped people with?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll speak closer to business owners to answer that question. So I think the number one issue, I think it's the stat is 82% of businesses fail because of cash flow issues. Now, part of that can be derived from maybe your product wasn't needed by the market, right? Maybe there wasn't a market for your product. Maybe you didn't have great customer service. So there's a whole slew of reasons behind just you weren't bringing in money, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But I think there's other businesses out there that, specifically that we're working with now, that they're driving, upwards of, they may be driving $10,000 a month in revenue to, there's a company that's doing $80,000 a month in revenue, and the owners aren't taking a salary, right? So there's a power, if you ever read the book.
They're not paying themselves?
They're not paying themselves, and they're keeping all the money in the company, which, again, there's aggressive ways to grow your company by reinvesting. We absolutely encourage that. But at the same time, if you're not strategically building personal and meaningful wealth along the way, then you're going to end up with, $1 million revenue business, and you're going to have the same benefit as having a $100,000 business. So we encourage people, don't grow for growth's sake. Let's strategically plan on how you're going to pay yourself. So usually that's where we start is, how do we get an owner to start paying himself a paycheck consistently? And there's some tax strategies behind that as well.
Yeah.
But you could wake up and all of a sudden, if all the revenue is gone in 2 years from now and you need to start something else, you don't have any money left to do that.
You're screwed, yeah. And that's why it's good to set up multiple streams of income.
Absolutely.
And that's what I'm working on, really making that happen. I'm about to set up some print-on-demand stuff for Behemoth Visuals merch, just because I had a couple people ask me, they liked my design, and they were like, I would love that shirt. And, when COVID first happened, I actually did produce, a bunch of merch. And, but I did it myself, and I shipped it all myself. It was a headache, so it's just print on demand, take about half of what the profits I made. I don't have to touch it, don't have to worry about it, and it's just a stream of income on the side, and it just is automated.
Yeah.
And just add designs to that. So that's going to be one little stream of income that I'm adding on. And I mean, you're right. I guess that is probably a common thing, because I have not really done that myself, paid myself. I've kind of felt like it's just all been the business.
Absolutely. And you probably write yourself a check for, all right, I got to pay my rent and I need groceries for the month, so I'll just pay myself enough.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Or I'll use the business
I just transfer it from the business account to the... And I don't know if it's smart to talk about my finances, but...
No. Thank you for sharing. But I mean, that's a lot of people that we start out working with, right? Regardless of where they're at revenue-wise. That's how they're paying yourself. And you're bringing up some other things around different streams of income. Who we really work with are visionary entrepreneurs and real estate investors. And we always say, they have a vision bigger than themselves. So they have it.
The idea I told you before the show.
Exactly. Nice. So you were speaking my language right there when you were talking about that. But it's the idea that money's great. It's an awesome tool. We love it, right? That's what our world runs on today. But at the same time, we work with people that money's not the end all be all, right? It's a great tool to get what we want in life. And they're aware of the community and the impact they could have on their team, the people around them, the people in their city, the people across the world. So they have a mission just beyond, let's build a huge business, right?
It's
how do we build a huge business and create, an amazing culture for
use that
our
business
people.
To make an impact.
Exactly. And how do we, how are we giving back? So, I mean, I could list down our clients, and every single one of them have that sort of mission or that heart, whether it be for their family, for their community, for just different programs that they do for outreach. But the exciting thing about visionary entrepreneurs, and really what, I where this started was, how do I have, I get energy and excitement from, talking around those different ideas.
Yeah.
And it was, how do I have more of those conversations, right?
For sure.
And then how do I get paid more, which all comes back to how do you drive more value to those folks?
Yeah.
But those visionary entrepreneurs, like you're saying, you always have that next idea in mind. It's always that next business, that next, stream of income. And it's really balancing all that. Like, how do you go out and achieve that, right?
For sure.
So
how do you pull an Elon Musk?
Exactly. And that's why I'm a huge fan of the book Rocket Fuel. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. I hand it out left and right to
I'm about
people
to
as well.
make that a built-in question to this show, because I love the different books I get recommended. I'm going to start asking, what books do you recommend? So,
no, that's
Rocket
great.
Ship.
Rocket Fuel. But it talks about visionaries and integrators, right? It's the people that have the dream, that are usually started the company in most cases, but you need someone in your life that lets you work on the business and above the business.
You need an admin or something like that.
Yeah, and it goes beyond that of like, eventually you want somebody that's running 3 or 4 of your companies for you, and letting you to be
a COO.
And letting you dream about the next venture, the next impact you're going to make. So for sure.
Yeah. So that's exciting. I have lots of ideas, and I like to execute on them. And like this podcast, like this summer, when I decided to going from people's offices and just throwing up a camera and not really caring how it looked, and doing it once a week. I was like, I went on a hiatus for 4 months with the podcast because of COVID happened, and then I had this big vision of like, this podcast is going to be like something like huge, something that's like super impactful. And I was like, I need a space downtown Colorado Springs for the COS Business Podcast. I was like, it has to be downtown. It has to be. I've never bought an office space before. I didn't even know how to go about it. And it just, within like 24 hours, I was able to get someone to help me out with a little bit of the funds to make it happen. And wasn't even asking it, just I was talking about it, and they were like, okay, here. and then on top of that, within like the next 48 hours, I had a meeting with someone, and it was in this building, and they were like, we can get you a spot in this building. And I was like, within just being so excited about the idea, I was attracting it happening like more rapid than ever, like of anything that I've had an idea for. It was wild.
Absolutely. No, it's amazing what can happen when you start to tell people what you're about or what you're doing. Yeah. So I've got 2 different coaches as well that I use, but I've gotten a lot better about, if there's an idea I have or something that I want to do and I'm not sure I'm going to do it, going out and telling somebody that I'm going to take action on this and I'm going to do it, and hold me accountable, please, and asking for that accountability, because then I have to do this, right? I have to make this happen. And it's interesting, the connections, the other people you'll find along the way that want to help you in your journey.
Definitely. I'm going to hit this button.
Yep.
Yeah, man, especially when you're like really excited about it and like you're talking to people, and it's like, it's just, I forgot where I was going to go with that train of thought, but yeah, I was just thinking, what were you saying?
No, it's just more around, you start putting it out into the world of like, I'm going to accomplish this, or this is what's going to happen. And especially in a community like this, and really several other communities as well, people are going to rally to that, the people that share that excitement, that energy. And that's where going back to our conversation earlier about the power of networking, I think that's where the power of networking is. It's really those relationships and surrounding your people that have, surrounding yourself with people that have different backgrounds, different, different life experiences, but that same energy level and that desire for growth and impact.
I was just thinking of something. Your video that you did on LinkedIn, it was so good. Someone who's one of your friends on LinkedIn reached out to me, added me, and they were like, did you do the video for Robert?
I saw that. Yeah. No, and I think I commented back, not for this first round. That was just me. Someone had called, or a couple of people had called me out saying, hey, you're not posting video content. You need to share this with the world. So I did. So it was just one of those, put it together, throw it up there. But I'm planning on leaving it to the professionals here pretty soon.
For sure. Yeah. Well, I was just saying, like, he thought it was so good that a professional did it.
Well, thank you. No, I'm glad to hear that. So.
Yeah. No. So that was cool. Yeah. But yeah, man, is there anything specific you'd like to promote today?
Let's see. I think the only thing I'd share is anyone that's listening to the show or comes on and speak, we'll offer, for the first, I'd say 25, we figured out we could do the first 25 that reach out to us.
Yeah.
We'll do a free tax efficiency audit. So that's a small piece of our business when I went back to we were able to, usually we find on average between 20 and 30% savings, for every single year, which can add up over time, even if you have a CPA or an accountant. So totally free. We'll just take a look and at the end of the day, hopefully everything's in order, and we can give you the thumbs up. There's nothing to do. But if not, we're more than happy to put that together. So the first 25 that reach out to us, we'll do a free tax efficiency plan for.
That's fantastic, man. Well, I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. So yeah, I guess we can call this a wrap. This has been the COS Business Podcast, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on.